This will be my first 14er. Just over 14,000 feet. Technically, it's 14,003 feet, so it works. But I want to talk about the reason why I'm doing this, because that matters. I'm not really the type of person to hike all the time for fun. So when I do, there's a reason for it, even a small hike. But this will be the second big hike I've ever gone on in my life. So, and I every time I make a video, I always say, I'm gonna start trying to make videos more often, and then I don't. And part of that is because of schedule, just things coming up. Part of that is laziness, because there is time to make videos like this, but I need to actually do it. So a year ago, I was doing nothing, literally nothing. I was playing video games, watching YouTube, not doing very much. And I was very unimpressed with myself, unhappy with the world, and I was mad because I was clearly so far away from the person I want to be. And at the time I was 17. I'm 18 now. So 2 months later, 2 months from now, a year and 2 months ago, I started a program created by an incredibly impressive man named Doug Casey, and it was further developed by my father. And the program, it's all about deciding not to go to college, or go into the military, or get a dead-end job. It's about seeing what's possible for an individual to do on his own accord within 2 years, 4 years, really, however long the individual would like it to be. And we call it the preparation for good reason, because it's meant to prepare young people, mainly young men, but young women too, for the future. And I started off that program, and since then I have furthered my skills in a few areas, built many new skills, and I'd say become a much better person in that time. I've become an EMT. I went to EMT school. It was 4 months long. Did that, started August 8th and ended November 9th. I did that. I became apprenticed to a Uruguayan gaucho, which is a cowboy, basically, for a short period of time. I learned how to drive a tractor, how to treat cattle, and sheep too. Wow, look at that. That's awesome. Mend fences and shoe horses. And then from there, during that time I did lots of writing as well. I have since written over 40,000 words for various personal articles And if you want to check out my Substack page, I'll put that in the description. Post weekly updates on everything I do. So if you're at all interested in this program, or just interested in what I do in general, check it out. I went to a rope course in South Dakota, a rope rescue course, and furthered my rappelling skills. Learned a lot more about rappelling. The last time I had rappelled was when I was 9 years old. Learned how to create raising and lowering systems. Also working with a team, which is good. And just recently, I learned horse and mule packing out in Crested Butte, Colorado, from a very, very impressive man. I've done a good amount of things within this past year, and certainly made a good list of accomplishments. And so the reason I'm doing this hike now, not only because I just wanted to do something like this, but because it goes along with the one of the big ideas of the program, of the preparation, and that is to challenge yourself and create your own conditions. You can think of life as like a set of countless paths, and most people live lives and then live their life, and then when they reach the peak, when they finally get to check out the view, they're unimpressed, very unimpressed. Not so much because the view just isn't all that nice, but because they didn't go all that far. They could have done more. They realized too late that there isn't much time, and they're disappointed with themselves. And that disappointment gets reflected on the world and other people. Kind of like this little bunny there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Is it eating something? Looks like it. It's cute. I don't know why someone's pack is there. I'm gonna be more quiet in case there's a campsite. But most people come to be disappointed with their lives. And that's how I was a year ago. The trail I was on was not the one I wanted to be on. It was equivalent to like hiking a cornfield in Iowa. That's what it was like. Unimpressive. Not beautiful. Not scenic. No trials. So, as I've been going on this path, which is really my own path, because in the preparation, it's a guide, it's a manual. It's not a step-by-step process of what to do. It just points a way forward for young men, and it does it very, very well. And I can say so because I'm acting as a guinea pig for the program. I'm the first person to do it, so it's been going great for me. That's why I hope you do it, or your son, or daughter, or grandson, granddaughter, niece, nephew. And, you know, with the preparation, it expanded my idea of what's possible. Because up until that point, I figured that things would just work out somehow. And what that means exactly, I don't know. I don't think there's really a way to define that thought. Really, other than just saying I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't doing anything. And I thought the stars would align in some strange way with no true effort. And so my vision expanded, and I've talked about this in a video before a couple of months back, but one of my first thoughts when I was presented with this program was about The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a great story, great movie, great book, and I won't spoil it, but he becomes imprisoned falsely. He's falsely accused of treason in France, and his friend, his best friend, helps him get imprisoned, along with a man working on his merchant ship. And he loses his whole life. He's 19 years old. He loses his whole life. He was about to marry the woman he loved, Mercedes. He became captain of Le Pharaon, which is the ship that he was working on, and life was heading in a good direction. And so, in a very short period of time, everything was taken from him. Everything. He was imprisoned for a total of, if I remember correctly, 14 years. 14 years. Until he met a man, a priest, who helped him escape. And again, not to spoil too much, after that, he went on to seek revenge, but he also came across a large sum of wealth. And along the way, he built himself. Actually, he built himself when he was imprisoned. That's when he did it. So it was about 6 years that passed before he began to develop any skill. And after those 6 years, that's when he met the priest. And the priest taught him mathematics, how to read, write, economics, and how to fight. So he honed his skills over that period of time, over those remaining 8 years. And so when he emerged, he was a force to be reckoned with. An incredibly skilled, determined man. A man of sheer will. And because of that, he was able to execute his plans effectively. So that's the first idea, the first thought that came into my mind when I started the preparation. Because it's a clear and perfect example of developing yourself with the time that's given to you. And later on in life, we all have more obligations. I mean, I know for a fact that 8 years from now, I will have an incredible amount of obligations compared to what I have today, which is basically none. And that's why it's good to do the preparation, because you're able to use the free time you have to do more than everyone else around you, by far. And better yet, to do it consciously. And look at that too, man. That's crazy. It's a great view. To do it consciously. The most impressive stuff in life, the most impressive people, they weren't. Sometimes, every once in a while, they're thrown into a unique situation, but they tended to put themselves in that situation. They tended to create the conditions of their life, to mold their life into what they wanted it to be. There's a good Louis L'Amour quote, actually, that's something like, up to a point in a person's life, heritage, heritage, your surroundings, your upbringing, it all falls away and doesn't become a factor, at least not as much of a factor anymore. Up to a point in a person's life, they're shaped by the conditions around them. But there comes a point where you are able to say, this I am today, and that I shall be tomorrow. I butchered that quote from Louis L'Amour. That was extremely paraphrased and screwed up, but close enough. So, to utilize this time that you have as a young person, and not to spend it on a college education, which is going to cost you a lot more than you can ever imagine. A lot more. And worst of all, it takes away your time. Who knows what that degree is going to do? Who knows if you'll even care about the degree by the end of that time? There's a high probability that that degree will get you nowhere. Even then, maybe way down the line, you do use that degree. And you make a career out of it. And then you look back and you regret it and go, man, all my life has gone to this one thing. All that I have is due to a piece of paper. And what I paid for it with was not the tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars I spent, but all of my time. All of my time. So to instead choose your conditions, man, I know for a fact that I've done more in the last year than most people have done in double, triple, maybe even quadruple that time. And I mean that honestly and without, maybe there's a hint of pride in there because it's all of my own doing, but it's just a fact. Yeah, look at this. That's crazy. This is another reason for the hike. Definitely. And there's a waterfall over there. That's cool. Very cool. So, I've been doing this program. It's been going very well. Also, I apologize. I got a very bad sunburn, and my skin, it's shedding, so it's gross. Lo siento. But you know, going back to the whole path thing. I've gone a few tangents now. Going back to the whole path thing. You can choose a cornfield, choose the foothills, or you could choose the mountains. And you know, there's multiple paths up the mountain too. There's multiple paths in life, but with the very, very short time you have, which if you meet more impressive older people, you'll realize just how short life is, because I mean, they'll tell it to you over and over again, and they'll say, "Man, I can't believe it. I feel like I should still be 30 years old." But no, time has passed. The good thing is, those impressive people have lived their lives well. But you want to make sure that you find your own path, one that you will be proud of. And that when you reach the peak, when you reach the end of your life, it isn't so much the view. I mean, yes, you'll be able to look on all that you've done, but it's the doing, the time that you spent actually doing, that you will admire the most. So, again, if you want to know more about the program, stay updated on my Substack page, because that's where I don't want to fall down the mountain there. That would be bad. That's where I post about everything and talk about it, and like I said, explain what I do every week. I figured that this was a suggestion from one of my readers on the Substack page, but I figured that I might as well start posting videos on what I do every week as well, because I've improved my writing skills, but they're not as good as they could be. And I can have more of a conversation with you through a video than I can through text. So it'd be fun to do that, but I just want to make this video and also try explaining the program again, and capturing some of these good views, talking to you guys about some things that I think are important. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Again, check out this view. Jesus, that's crazy. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, it took a while, but I made it to the top of Mount of the Holy Cross mountain. Well, I guess it's Mount, so here you go. But it's the view. It was a very, very steep climb. I was way down there. I started off over on that clearing. They're just maybe 1,000 feet down from that clearing over there. Went down all the way down to a creek down there, and then went back and forth, and eventually up this ridge. Up. Followed it all the way. So, passed some guys when we got to the top too, and they asked how many 14ers I've done, and I said this was my first. And I said, you chose a difficult one for your first 14er, which is a good thing. Honestly, I chose this 14er because of its name, Mount of the Holy Cross. That just sounds awesome. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But I guess we'll end the video with that.